After bowling 5 games with the Black Venom, man, I had to do this one, the original Venom Shock. The cover on the Shock is cleaner and quicker off the friction compared to the Black Venom, and I really like that aspect about the ball because it shows me the transition up front, so I can make my moves earlier, especially on sport patterns where the drop brush is shorter than the pattern's length. For example, I was bowling a tournament on Sphinx, which is 40 feet, but with a 35-foot drop brush. So when the ball started to read a touch early here, it was telling me to make a move. As for house shot, I've had some success with this as well, shooting 794 with it a couple weeks ago. Okay, so let's get into the first game. So I start with a strike and a 4-pin whiff. Oof, I need to stop missing those. I bury the pocket in the 4th frame, so I give it more room, and it still crushes. This thing responds to friction so quick, so when I bowl against certain teams that like to throw urethane, this lets me bounce around their carry down. And yeah, I agree that like urethane is unnecessary for a house shot, but I don't see it as a bad thing to do per se. You're allowed to throw whatever ball you want at the end of the day. Just simply adjust around it. First game I didn't have to move much. I just need to be clean with my hand position at the bottom. And I ended with a 215, after whiffing another single pin. I have similar layouts on both my Black Venom and Venom Shock. Both have a 3.5-inch pin to pap and a 35-degree valve angle, so I like to keep them separate with surface. I'll keep my Black Venom at 1500, and I'll let the Shock lane shine, but if I'm bowling on sport, I'll certainly put surface on it, depending on the volume and the ratio forward to reverse. This ball is comparable to an IQ Tour, but I haven't thrown one in more than 10 years, so I can't really directly compare them myself. But I heard the new pores are pretty good. So in my next video, I'm going to review an SPI ball, and I'll use the Venom Shock to baseline it. Game 2, I've thrown a bunch of strikes, and I've got away with a Brooklyn and a trip 4, so I'm lucky to be finishing off with a 257. My execution is better compared to my previous video, and part of that is because I recently made a fit change. I shortened my span and shifted my thumb forward, and took my fingers away. This promotes more of a relaxed fit, and will create a later release point. But the physical game stuff is where you get most of those gains from, but this fit should help me project the ball more on the lane. I'm mainly making this change for comfort. I'm tired of ripping my callus on my middle finger and using new skin, like my archetype video where I choked on my 300. But anyway, back to the game. I've gotten away with tons of trash strikes this game. Like if I got away with this in League, my opponent might rage. Then my timing gets off, causing me to pull it. 7-count spare to end the game with. For a 245. Game 4, I make a small move. Overall, I haven't had to move much. This ball doesn't create a ton of transition, especially when it's lane shined. But it is trying to warn me, like this shot where it breaks away early and finds hold. I just try to project through it, but then this next shot gets kinda lazy down lane, signaling that it might roll out. And these next 2 shots are just execution. Luckily I made my spares on both. That 3-6 was a little tight. I was able to finish game 4 off with the 266. It was kind of looking a little shaky there at the end. Okay, last game. This is where I start struggling. The ball's too clean to play in the heavy volume, and I don't trust it if I get it too far right. Finally throw a good one to Trace in the third frame. Then I pull the ball left and I chop the spare. So even with me struggling in this game, I'm still outscoring the Black Venom. And I'm not saying that one ball is better than the other. I think both are situational and they have their own place. The Black Venom's smoother, and the Venom Shock is quicker off the back of the pattern. So if you're still with me at this point in the video, let me know what you think about the ball. And I'm gonna rebuild my arsenal with my new fit, so I'm open to any suggestions. And I finished the last game with a 181, so I had a total pin count of 1164.